There he is.
Hey, what's happening, man?
How are you?
All right, how are you doing?
I'm just over here learning. I was learning a Chris Cornell audio slave song.
Nice. Which one?
I am the highway. I
Oh,
knew it before. I was just brushing up on it a little bit.
nice, man. Nice. You gonna do that tune on what Friday?
No, I don't think so. I may just post a little video today or something on my own. But yeah, that was one of my favorites for sure. He was one of my favorites. Fucking
Yeah.
sucks.
Oh man, what a loss, man. I remember seeing
Yeah.
him, when Soundgarden back in the day, and the Beyond the Wheel when they did Beyond
Yeah.
the Wheel, man. Oh my God, it just I get chills thinking about it. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
He was literally he was probably the singer I discovered latest in life, not until the last maybe 5 years or so, and really took a liking to him. A lot of people tried to turn me on to the Soundgarden stuff specifically, which I later on grew to love, but it was more like I was getting sent like really obscure stuff.
Right.
Um, but it wasn't until I heard his acoustic record that I really fell in love with him and just his vocal style, and he's just such a killer.
Yeah.
And then fucking died. Sucks.
Yep. Yep. So many now, man. Yeah, it's good to see you, man. It's good to
Yeah,
one thing coming out of this quarantine crap is at least you got some time on your hands because there's nothing happening with live shows really anymore. But you guys are changing that on Friday. Uh, Doing a live show at the Viper Room, first
yeah,
virtual live show at the Viper Room. That's pretty cool, man. Um, so the specifics, it's 7:30 I got on Friday Pacific,
yeah.
10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central. Tickets available at dirtyhoney.veeps.com for 9.55. So yeah, that's gonna be super cool, man. What can we see?
Yeah,
What can we
I'm
expect?
really looking forward to it. We're filming it with a group that's filmed our Rolling Sevens music video, the suitcase sessions that we've done in quarantine. We're really tight with them. They're great creative artists in their own right, and what we're trying to do, more than anything, I've watched a lot of the quarantine things. A lot of people, honestly, like this, playing guitar or whatever on their couch and posting a video. It's not all that interesting, even though it's something.
Yeah.
Um, we're trying to really get in your face, so with the cinematography and capture the live experience that is a Dirty Honey show. Not only from the onstage point of view from us, but imagine being a fan in the front row and getting that interaction, through the
Oh,
lens of the camera. That's kind of how we're approaching it a little more because it's a small club.
yeah, yeah, and I mean, I saw the YouTube clip of you guys doing a festival show, and I mean, musicians kind of feed off of that energy from the crowd, and you guys
Yeah,
really do that. I mean, you're a live band, great on
yeah,
record, of course, but the live show, especially your voices, it really holds up live, comes across great. There's that energy. How do you prepare for a show like this? Where you're playing to an empty room, right?
yeah. So we're actually going to rehearse at the Viper Room tomorrow. Um, and everybody's going to get a feel. So the Viper Room has their lighting and production team there. They're going to get a feel for us. Obviously, we're going to get a feel for the stage and the room.
Yeah.
The cinematographers are going to swing by, and we're going to plan out how to best do this thing. It's going to take some planning and some getting used to, obviously, but um, just we're going to approach it as if we're doing a live show, and just maybe there's going to be some certain things that we're more aware of, like where the cameras are and stuff, and how to best utilize those tools to make a better in-home experience.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be great, man. I mean, you got a great band there. I mean, your voice. I mean, people are gonna know that your name, your face. One of the best out there for sure.
Thanks.
It's just crazy. Um, I know you've been playing and in music since you were 4 or 5. I think the one sheet said. I mean, it's you've been involved. What kind of vocal training, if any? I mean, it sounds like you have had a few lessons in your day?
I've never had a formal lesson. It was just a lot of singing along to Aerosmith and AC/DC and Zepp and the Stones and um, the classic rockers that I loved. And then when I got to LA, I just sort of happened. I don't even know how I found it. I happened on this vocal warm up CD. I don't even know who gave it to me or whatever, but I've just been doing that ever since. It's a lot of that like me stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
I do that. It became a habit to just do it before shows in my car on the way to the venue, and been doing it ever since. And it's I later found out, oh, that's one of the best ones to do. But that was pretty much all I've ever done professionally in terms of vocal training.
Yeah, wow. I mean, that's
Which is
just
very informal, to
that's
say the least.
that's pretty
I don't even
killer.
know if I'm doing it right or not. So.
You're doing something right, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I saw this stat too. You guys are the first band to ever top the mainstream Billboard mainstream chart unsigned. I mean
Yeah.
that's unheard of, man. I mean, with no label backing. I mean, how does that even happen?
Yeah, we've got a really great, small but effective management and radio promotion team. I think it's like 3 or 4 guys in total. It's very, very small, but I think it's just a testament to what the fans really want to hear. It wouldn't have happened if it wasn't resonating with people on a deeper level. So, it's just it's a good win for rock and roll, like I said, and
Totally.
it's good to know that people are yearning for real authentic bluesy rock music again.
Yeah, and you guys fit into that, and I hate to say this, that Greta Van Fleet,
Sure.
Zeppelin thing. I mean, you've obviously got a tilt towards the Robert Plant vibe,
Mhm.
and I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, I think it's great that that door is open for the younger crowd to
Yeah.
experience that '70s style classic rock. It's great to see it coming back. Uh,
Yeah.
do you ever? I mean, do you ever get tired of hearing that? Another Led Zeppelin copy band thing.
I don't, because like I've said, Zeppelin literally was, I mean, they were so heavily ripping off artists, blues artists, that they would literally just take lyrics,
Yeah, I
and
know it's insane.
let alone the riff from Stairway or whatever. Like, um, they got it. Aerosmith was called the poor man's Rolling Stones. Guns N' Roses was, a version of Aerosmith or
Yep.
whatever. If like everybody's gotten it throughout time, and as time goes on, you learn to respect and appreciate each artist for what they are, and they sort of become their own identity. I mean, the Black Crowes were called the Rolling Stones. Like
Right.
the list goes on, So
Yep.
I really don't mind it, so long as we keep doing it, and 10 or 20 years from now, people will just be able to, from the first 4 bars of this tune, be able to say, "Oh, that's Dirty Honey," and it's unmistakable at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. And I think it is. I think it really is. I mean, of course, there are the influences there. Yeah. I mean, it's unescapable. It's the tone of your voice and the grit
Yeah,
of the guitars and stuff like that. But I don't think it's obvious that you're trying to sound like that. You just do sound like that.
yeah, and the one difference I guess I get from the Greta guys, who I really love, by the way, they seem to only get Zeppelin. I don't
Right.
hear a lot of other influences in their music. Hopefully, their next record is a step in some sort of growth. I imagine it will be, to get away from that a little bit. But with us, it's such a wide variety of artists that
Yeah.
I get compared. I get compared to everybody from Guns N' Roses to Aerosmith to the Black Crowes to, I mean, Led Zeppelin. It's a really long list of names I've heard.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, whatever, it's all good, man. If you like it and you're comparing us to something you like, that's fine with me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I take it for what it is,
And
definitely.
I'm sure the Greta guys feel the same way. Just, it's peace and love. It's sharing rock and roll again, and
Yeah, man. It's what it's all about. Music to my ears. All that
yeah,
enjoyable stuff,
literally.
man. Yeah, no doubt. Now, news has it that you guys were all ready to record. with Nick Didia, who did the
Mhm.
EP. Coronavirus struck. That was back in March. You guys were heading out. Uh, they told you not to, otherwise you'd become an Australian band.
Yeah.
um, so you guys didn't go, but I know you've been in communication with Nick and some writings going on, or any.
Yeah, a lot of writing's been going on. We're ready. Like I feel pretty confident in saying like as soon as whenever we can get into a studio, whether that's a Zoom sort of situation in a studio here in LA, or we go to Australia, or Nick comes to LA, whatever. Like we are ready to record. There's no doubt about it, and we're going to be doing some of the new stuff that we're really pumped about on Friday. We're going to be,
Awesome.
playing some new songs for the first time. So that's obviously exciting,
Yeah.
and we're excited to hear what the fans think about it because I know they've been wanting to hear some new stuff for quite a while. So
Yeah, no doubt. And I was going to ask you, you did the EP the
mm-hmm.
first time out, and I just talked to Bill Leverty from Firehouse, and he's doing like a song at a time, and then at the end of it, he's going to release all. He released all 10 as an album. That seems to be a trend,
Mm-hmm.
especially now, with not being able to just go anywhere you want to go. What are your plans? Is this going to be a full album right off, or are you going to do another EP?
We're definitely pushing for a full album. I think we have the material to do that. How we release it, I imagine I'll leave it up to the marketing people, aka our manager, who's a really good marketing guy and has marketed some of the best records of all time. So I really trust him in that sense. And that was one of the things when we were finding and talking to managers. It's like it was obvious, like when we looked at his rap sheet of the bands and artists he's worked with. It's like those are some of my favorite artists of all time. Let alone
Right.
you know uh, his musical taste is very in line with ours. So we trust him a lot, and I just think there's a balance. There's a balancing act to be worked with how much you release at one time. I don't know if you want to release 10 or 12 songs, drop it all at once, just because I feel like I'm guilty of it too. My favorite TV shows come out. If they come out on Netflix in a full season, I'll rip through that in a night or two.
Right. Right.
So I like to kind of ease people into maybe the first four at a time and do it in three waves or two waves, whatever. Maybe that's the way to go. He might completely disagree with me, but I want the music obviously to be heard and to be diagnosed or whatever, or really, really listened to. And I think the only way to do that is to give people time to sit with it. And that the second they feel like they want more, give them a little more.
Yeah, and I think you always want to keep them having wanting more.
Yeah,
So if
yeah,
if you give us 25 songs, we're going to be good for a little while at least. You know what I
yeah.
mean? But give us four, and we're going to be all over you the next week for more.
The other thing is too, if you have 25 great songs, you want, yeah, I want all 25 great songs to really be heard and felt and appreciated for what they are. Whereas I doubt, very rarely, I don't think it's ever happened in history that an artist has just had 25 killer songs ready to go. It's usually like 4 or 5 out of 25 or so are
Right.
good. But yeah, we're hoping we got a couple good nuggets in there. I think we do.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. Those first five or six, man, that's is pretty great stuff. Pretty great
Yeah,
stuff.
thank you. I think they're right there. So I'm pretty excited for the new stuff to get out there.
It's great. And I go on like, to the YouTube channel and watch the videos and stuff. And, a lot of times I don't even go to the comments because it's
Mhm.
just so discouraging. Uh, I go to your comments, man, and you can't find a bad one, I don't think. I mean, there's just people
I'm
are,
sure they're in there.
I'm sure they are, right? But most of it that I've seen is they're digging it, man. People really digging the stuff.
Yeah, I think the overwhelming majority of people that at least stumble upon us or whatever are pretty surprised and happy they did. So that's obviously
Yeah,
good.
no doubt. Um, I hear so many older guys like myself. I'm going to be 52 in October. My guys my age, for what I do, I get stacks and stacks of stuff on my desk every day to listen to, and I find a million things that are great. There's some great bands out there. You just have to really search, which is what I do. So when I hear new music sucks and stuff like that, and there's no good new music, and I think of Dirty Honey. You know what I mean? It's like, how do I get you to those people? Now I can physically do that. I can play something for them, but what is your how do you market to those people who don't want to search? How do you get your music to those people?
Yeah, it's really tough.
Yeah.
Fortunately, having the team around us that we have, it cuts through a lot of that noise that another artist without those resources, I guess, wouldn't have the same ability to reach Joe Schmo, who's just chilling out on the couch, not going to shows actively and discovering new
Right.
music. That's why those people are really good at what they do. Yeah, but at the same time, I think the best way to turn somebody on to us is to go to a live show, honestly, and just feel something, because that's where it really all happens. I mean, we make music. It used to be, right, like the Beatles would make music to write a great record because that was the ultimate pinnacle of creativity, is the record.
Right.
Whereas now the live show has become almost like an enhanced experience to experience the music in a deeper, more meaningful way. I mean, back in the Beatles day, they didn't even have proper amplification to out volume a crowd of screaming 14, 16-year-old girls. Um, so I think the shift has always been for us, like, man, what will this tune be like live, rather than what's it like on your headphones when you're listening to it on the train. You want it to be great there too,
Right.
but ultimately, yeah, I want to have that swagger live. If I write a riff for John, or if John's obviously writing a riff for himself, especially when I'm writing something, I need to be able to visually see him playing it on stage, so that there's been times where I've sent him something. He's like, I don't know what to do with my body with this feel of the riff or whatever. It's not
Right.
me. And I'm like, okay, well, we don't have to do it then.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I can literally, I've written things where I can see him playing them. And I think, yeah, ultimately, if you want to turn somebody onto the tunes, it's another level to see us play live for sure.
Yeah, and I think with Spotify and the saturation of music, recorded music in general,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of degraded that special thing. I used to go buy a record and I'd run home and I couldn't wait to put it on, and there was something special about it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's come down a little bit just because it's so easy. You
Yeah.
just you pull it up on your computer, you listen to it, and you go skip to the next one, new band, and it's everywhere. The live show is, not everybody can pull that off.
No, and that's something that's certainly a compliment to us that we get a lot. Is like, man, you guys sound great on the record, but you're even better live. And to hear that in a day and age where people don't really want to do the work to be good at the guitar, or to, it's just so easy to change the pitch on a vocal take in Pro Tools or whatever. To get those sorts of compliments where it's a better experience live is obviously really important to us. So
Yeah.
yeah, man.
That was, when I watched that YouTube clip of you guys at that festival. I forget what festival it was, but yeah, I heard that voice. Holy shit, man! I mean, it was, and this is a YouTube clip, from some guy with a cell phone in the audience. I was like, it was brought tears to my eyes, man. I was like, wow, that is not only like the record, it's better than the record, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, wow. You
We get
just
that from time to time, and that may have been a particularly good day. Who knows? But, yeah,
yeah.
that's. I mean, that's, you can't replace that energy either. Like standing in front of a couple thousand people and
Yeah.
jamming. I mean, it's really hard to fabricate that. So you know, that's what we're all about, man. Everything's about the live show and doing it live. That's the most important thing. So
Yeah, yeah, it was something crazy. Um, Now your bio, I'm reading this bio, man. You're ready to write a book already. I mean, what a life you've had, man. Just for people who don't know, I'll go through a few things. You played hockey and actually thought about going pro. Uh, that good up there.
I may have thought about it. Whether or not it was a reality is another issue.
But you had to be pretty good to give it a thought, in upstate New York, right by the Canada border, probably
Yeah.
there. Yeah. So um, now you went to college on a lacrosse scholarship
Yep.
and earned degrees in broadcasting, corporate communications, and marketing.
Yep.
That's got to help you right now, too, right?
Yeah, it almost seems like a well-written plan by God or some sort of higher power when I go back and just look at the timeline of things. Because when I moved to LA, I sort of had a friend really push me into like doing music, and also had a friend push me into working in TV and film and getting exposed to all these other, you know, creative avenues that I fell in love with, photography and cinematography, and had these skill sets that when it came time to like, all right, we got to shoot a music video for Dirty Honey. Who knows the director and who knows the location? And I was like, I know all this shit. Like, I got it. Like, we don't need to hire anybody. So it helped us do it really affordably, and you know, having the resources to get it done and be able to pull favors from people I met along the way was really great. And I've been friends with those people ever since, obviously. So
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
they've known my struggle too, and they've been along for it. And so when things started looking better and going in the right direction, they were all really supportive and really proud, and knew how hard I worked just to get to this point. So it's
Yeah.
cool.
I mean, that's just, and then I'm told you moved to LA in 2012, and you're living out of your car. You're
Yeah,
basically homeless for.
not my best moment.
But I mean, it's. But look at you now. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, man, you've gone. I mean, you put into work in college. You got these degrees. You I mean, you're playing music. You pulled yourself up, and now you're number one on the chart without any signing. Um,
Now I have somewhere to put all these hats.
no doubt, your car had to be filled.
It was filled. Yeah, I got pulled over one day. I had all my clothes and stuff in a hockey bag, and I sort of just rolled through a stop sign by accident. A cop was right there, and he pulled me over, and he was like, "It's in your back seat here. You going golfing or something?" And I was like, "No, those are all my clothes." He's like, "What? What do you mean all your clothes? Why are all your clothes in your back seat?" And I was like, I'm living out of a car right now." And he just kind of went, "Man, just be careful. I'm not gonna give you a ticket or anything. Just be safe, please. I don't
Yeah,
want to hear about you getting murdered in your car, you know,
yeah,
in a Legion Park or something, sleeping one night." So he was
yeah.
very nice to me.
That's cool. That's cool to hear. Um, Tell me, finish the sentence for me. I wouldn't be the singer I am today if it weren't for blank.
Steven Tyler, Bon Scott, Chris Cornell, Robert Plant, Mick
People,
Jagger, Eddie Vedder, Kurt Cobain, Chris Robinson,
and
Axl
that
Rose,
and that guy that gave you the practice the warm up disc,
Brett
right?
Manning, Brett McKinn. Yeah, exactly.
Very cool, very cool. Now tell me, tomorrow morning, Joe Perry calls you and says he wants to do an Aerosmith album. Steven doesn't want to do it. He wants you to be the singer, and he wants to get working on it right away. What do you? And the numbers are right and all that.
Um,
Do you take that gig?
do I take that gig? Shit.
Hey John, guess what?
Oh man, I would. I don't know if I would take the gig. I'd tell him I'll go and rehearse with you, mostly out of curiosity to see what sort of riffs he's come up with, because I am dying to hear him just play. Man, I love that guy. He's the coolest guy ever in rock and roll. Like, to
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
cooler than Jimmy Page. I love Jimmy Page. I love all those guys. He is just oozes cool, and been my favorite guitar player for a long time.
yeah. He's amazing. He's amazing. I've never had
That's
a
a
chance
tough
to talk
question
to him.
though. I don't know. Aerosmith without Steven Tyler wouldn't work. I don't think anybody wants to see that honestly. So probably not.
Yeah. Wow. Look at that. Nah, no
Yeah,
thanks, Joe.
yeah. Sorry, man. I would like. We were the Joe Perry project. I might jump in and
Right, right.
play a couple gigs with him. But yeah, replacing Steven is an impossible job.
Yeah, totally. Uh, um, I got a guy here that wants to hear Dirty Honey. What do they sound like? Uh, I play something for you. What do I play for him? What's the first thing I play for him?
What's the first thing you put from our catalog?
Yeah. You know, it's funny.
I think,
It's funny you say that. I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry, but I asked Ian Anderson that question
mhm.
from Jethro Tull, and he told me "Stairway to Heaven," and I was like, and he explained the whole thing, and I won't go into it,
Yeah,
but it was like it started to make sense. I was like, wow, okay, you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
but
Thoughtful reason for that. I would say for us, if you're trying to capture all the things we're about, it'd probably be Rolling Sevens. I just think it has that sexy swing that the swing in that song is really something that we can do well, and is that sort of X factor in our music that makes makes it not just like rockin', but it makes it fun
yeah,
rock and roll. There's a difference between um, Metallica and AC/DC, right? Metallica is a little more dude heavy rock, hard rock, whereas AC/DC is hard rock, but they can swing too, so they have that sexiness to them a little bit.
groove heavy, yeah,
Yeah, they got that groove, man.
yeah,
So
and I love
Rolling
that.
Stones has that to me.
Yeah, totally. And it's funny. That's the first song I heard from you guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got the email, and I hadn't heard "When I'm Gone," even though it was on top of the chart. And that's one of those things. Everything's just flies by the desk, and if you don't
Yeah.
grab it once it's going. So this comes into my desk, and it's Rolling Sevens. You guys were releasing the video and everything. So I threw it on, and I was like, "Oh yeah!"
Yeah.
And it was like Dirty Honey. I said, and I got a 20-year-old daughter, and I call her in, and I said, "Yeah, listen to this." And she's been to so many hundreds of shows
Sure.
with me and stuff, and so she knows what she's listening to, and she listens to it, and she said, "What are they called?" And I said, "Dirty Honey." Right when it started, and she said, "That's kind of creepy." And I was like, "But listen to the song, and then tell me." And she's like, "Yeah, I see where the name comes from now."
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
got,
All sort of fits together like a glove.
yeah, totally, and the name totally fits that song in particular too.
Yeah.
And in the video, you get the most beautiful girl in the world to ride a bike. I mean,
Yeah.
how cool is that?
I know. It was tough. It was tough to find her. I had a lot of trouble like finding a girl who could ride a motorcycle that had the sort of look that we wanted.
Yeah.
A lot of them were sport bike riders, and I was like, I'm trying to get. I always just sort of envisioned a chick on a Harley down the road, this badass girl, and
Oh, you nailed it.
yeah, and I pitched that to my buddy, the director, and he wrote the whole rest of the thing, the script around just that idea, and it was awesome. It was fucking awesome. So.
It's so cool, and that I was treated to that as opposed to just the audio track. I mean, obviously, just the audio track is phenomenal, but you partner it with that video. Before the song even starts, you have this badass, beautiful girl drive up on a Harley. I'm like, I like it already.
Yeah, man, that's what we're going for, dude.
Yeah, and the way she walks into the club and everything, and you guys just explode off of that. Your voice especially just explodes out of that first verse. It's totally, I would have totally, Dirty Honey is rolling sevens, man. And
Yeah, thank you. I would agree.
yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Uh, you love motorcycles and hats, obviously. Uh,
Yeah.
have you, now you got a couple of bikes, a Harley and a BMW, I'm told.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been riding or?
I've been riding. Yeah, I took the Beamer up to Yosemite National Park. Did a nice, super long hike, crazy hike last week, and then haven't been riding the Harley as much. I usually take the BMW on the really long trips, but the Harley's more for just bopping around town. It's not the most comfortable Harley existing, but it's cool. That's my Harley in the video actually.
Oh, nice, awesome.
So yeah, it's a good little bike. It was my first one. So I have a lot of sentimental feelings towards it. But yeah, the Beamer has been the one that's been going on that, I'll do 1,000 miles in 2 days on the Beamer and be fine and just enjoy it. Probably going to take that one out to South Dakota in a couple weeks. We have a gig out there and at Sturgis, so I think we're gonna.
Nice.
I
Yeah,
might have to ride out there. We'll see.
that's right. I talked to Ron Keel. I talked to Ron Keel quite a bit, and he's playing out there with the Ron Keel band. And I forgot there's shows actually happening somewhere in the
Yeah,
United
I
States.
know. It'll be really interesting to see that paradigm, how that all works out.
Yeah, yeah. You got 8 guitars, I'm told. Gibsons and Fenders.
There's one of them.
Yeah.
Typically Taylor, actually, but it's
Okay.
beautiful. This is the one that gets a lot of writing done. But I got a lot of
them. I don't hear any of them on the EP, right? You don't play.
No, I don't play on the records, but I definitely write quite a bit. Like the chorus for When I'm Gone was just we had that lick, and one day I had another part of a song that went, and I was just playing around with that, and then happened to go after I came out of that chorus idea, and I was like, oh, that works pretty good. And I showed it to John, and he was like, yeah, it sounds pretty good. And then that was how that all sort of happened. So to have instruments around to write with is obviously pretty important. And there's been other ideas for this new the new record, the new stuff we're doing that happened in a similar fashion. Okay. But yeah, I don't think John wants me playing. I don't think anybody wants me playing records.
Now, will you play live at all? I mean, like if you play a couple of acoustic tunes or something?
John and I actually were at a party together a few weeks ago, and we just played acoustic together, and it's always fun. But I don't know, maybe down the road we will. No pun intended. Down the road was another one though too. It was on an acoustic. Just wrote that on acoustic. Had this chord progression that I liked, and when we played it electric, it was a completely different vibe and more powerful and profound. But just wrote it on acoustic. There's not much more else to it,
Yeah, cool. Now you almost had the Greta guys produce the album.
Yeah.
But you chose Nick Didia, and what a choice the guy is. Top in the game. Man, oh man, the guy. I mean, you look at his resume, and it's probably the most diverse resume too. It's so many classic records and. Wow.
And a lot of stuff that we really, really liked. Yeah. So he was great. Yeah, when you look at like his resume with STP and Pearl Jam,
Rage.
He's just awesome.
Man. I know he did Rage, and I hear Scars, and I hear a little bit of Rage in there. It's got that really heavy groove, and I was like, yeah, he really got you in that zone, and that was really cool to hear. If you would have went with the Greta guys, and of course there's no telling, do you think your sound would be different? Even though you guys are playing the same songs, does what do you think they would have done with it?
We didn't really get that far down the sonic conversation with those guys, and that sort of fell apart sort of on its own. That whole idea. And so when we talked to Nick the first time, he just said all the things we really wanted to hear anyway. I mean, they had a similar approach: track it together live, do that sort of thing. And I think the Last Child cover we did with Dave Cobb, it still sounds like us. So I think anybody that leans into the performance of the band, recording a good performance of the band, is going to get an authentic Dirty Honey sound, just because it's it's just us. If you capture those four personalities properly, it's kind of hard to fuck it up,
Yeah.
honestly. So,
And
um,
you guys are,
and by fuck it up, I mean not saying that we're great at any. It's just kind of hard to fuck it up and make us sound like something we're not if you do it that way.
right.
So
Yeah. I mean, that's just it too. I hear so many things that are just good songs, but they don't have that all the guys in one room kind of live personality, like you
yeah,
said. They're just there's a lot of guys out here that can write great songs, but putting them out there with that energy, that spark, when you listen to it, it just slaps you in the side of the head. I got that from this band.
yeah, and I got that. I watched a four-part Tom Petty documentary not too long ago. That sort of recording philosophy was used in the Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers when they were recording with Jimmy Iovine songs like "Refugee" and "Here Comes My Girl," and the list goes on. And then when he went in with Jeff Lynne and did "Full Moon Fever," which is free falling, won't back down, running down a dream, it's still great, but it has more of a Jeff Lynne type sound.
Very polished,
It's
yeah.
more like concise, less live sounding, and more produced, which I also love. I really love. But when I listen back to the Tom Petty songs when I'm working out or something, I usually steer more towards the Jimmy Iovine stuff for whatever reason.
Yeah, I mean, and it's raw, it's dirty.
Yeah, it's
It's a
definitely a little more raw of a sound,
yeah.
which I tend to like.
Yeah, and then this band, I mean, Dirty Honey is a raw rock and roll band, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we're going for.
Yeah, you got it, man. That's cool. Can't wait to hear the new stuff. I know you got a full day. I'll let you go. This has been great, man. I could go on for days talking to you, man. It's so cool.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks
Uh,
for the time, man.
hey, thanks for taking the time. Dirty Honey, Viper Room, playing this Friday, 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central, 9:55 at dirtyhoney.veeps.com.
You
How
got it.
cool. Awesome, man. Mark, thank you so much, man.
All right, cheers, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. Stay safe and stay healthy.
Yeah, you too, man. And I hope you can get to Chicago sometime soon. And, I'd love to shake your hand and hang for a little bit, man.
I will absolutely be getting to Chicago soon.
I hope so. That's great, man. Hey, good luck with recording and everything. And tell the guys thanks for all the great music, man.
Thank you. And let me know what you think after you hear a couple new tunes this weekend.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, absolutely, man. I'll get back to you.
Cheers, man.
All right. You too, man. Thanks.
See you,
Bye.
man.